Something we're gonna start doing for all teams, that are already in their off season. Teams that are currently getting eliminated and sent to Cancun. The first team we're gonna talk
Is
about
Cancun cool? Is that cool that everybody goes there?
is
Well,
that
I
the
thought that was an
spot.
NBA thing. You know,
I mean, it's.
where
I
was the
think
banana
it's.
boat? Was that Cancun?
I have no clue where the banana boat was. I can't
Was it
lie. I don't
Diddy's
know.
house?
I don't know where the
They rode
banana
that
boat
banana
was.
boat all the way to Diddy's house, dude.
But the first team we're going to talk about, especially because there's a lot of just conversation going on around them, and we kind of dabbled in it, and then I'll stop beating around the bush. Steelers off-season plans.
Beat the bush. Number one. Do it.
Do you want to talk about? Okay, so I want you to talk about what you saw on ESPN, but then before that, I want to say, last episode we talked about Mike Tomlin, and you were saying like is this all what Mike Tomlin wants, just to keep making the playoffs and all that?
Yeah, and I saw a clip recently because as I was going back and watching like Chase Young hate, it was where he goes up to Chase Young. And he's like, I don't ever want to lose enough games to get a player like you. And it's like, maybe that's your fucking problem. Maybe you want a generational talent. I'm not saying it's Chase Young, but you want to lose some. I'm not saying you tank or whatever, but like this team needs to lose to get better. Otherwise, they're going to be bitching around with some okay guys.
And then I saw a conversation. I can't remember exactly if it was if it was the Fox post game, whatever, but it was Teddy Bruschi and Rex Ryan.
Okay.
And Bruschi was was kind of like, yeah, so what are we gonna do about Mike? And Rex Ryan was more on the side of what I was saying, where it was like, look, Mike Tomlin's Mike Tomlin. He's a GOAT. He ain't going nowhere. But then Teddy Bruschi was like, but Tomlin is the standard, and is the standard just making the playoffs?
Yeah.
And it's like, that is a good question. It's like, what do you do? Now, we could talk long term. We can talk plans for next season, what they need to do in September. But then there's also a lot that needs to be done right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's some free agents, there's some aging, there are some questions.
Yeah.
There were some things being said by Pickens. It's like there were some things. But
Pickens will always it'll cause some problems. But yeah, I mean, what's his name? Stephen A. talked about Tomlin and said that. Well, it started. It was Damian Woody talking about how Tomlin, how they needed to just end up parting ways. Stephen A. was like, yeah, they probably should, but he was like, I don't think Mike Tomlin's the biggest threat here, or the biggest problem. And he continued to talk about how T.J. Watt, how they needed to focus on replacing T.J. Watt and getting a better defensive player than T.J. Watt. And it's like, sure, he didn't show up the past few fucking games, really, but that's not the problem with this team. I think there's a ton wrong with this fucking team. And their defense isn't the biggest problem there.
Wait. So he just said like they need to find someone to replace
T.J.
Watt?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the greatest defensive players of all time.
Now, just because I'm curious, did anybody say, okay, Steven, who?
Yeah. I mean, I went through my head. It was like Myles
Did anybody
Garrett.
ask? Like, did anybody? Was there a rebuttal? Was there a rebuttal to that? Was there a rebuttal?
What I saw, I barely watched Stephen A. But what I saw was like the two of them kind of just look at Stephen A. and just like, oh yeah, he just says dumb shit. We're not even going to respond to it.
This wasn't like him yapping like Shannon or.
No, it was Damian, Woody, Stephen A. and Shannon. And then Shannon didn't say anything. Shannon just skipped into his point, which was the fact that the Steelers haven't fired a head coach since Chuck Noll took over.
Way, bro. If Skip Bayless would have said, I think the problem is T.J. Watt.
Exactly.
T.J. Watt. He would have Skip. Now, I know
Skip.
in my time, you have never look. I know we like to put the blame on people, but like there was no way he would have let that shit fly. So
it was more of just like, yeah, let the let the guy bring up his bullshit. But no, I mean, what's his nuts brought up a good point. Shannon, that the Steelers have not fired a head coach. It was Chuck Noll to fuck nuts. I can't remember his name.
But
Bill
Coward
to Tomlin, and both of them retired.
But why? And why would you fire Mike Tomlin? Why would it start now?
But I don't want to see him like get fired. But it's just like I think that for the better of this team, I think they have to separate. I think
why
Tomlin doesn't need a bad season on his record, but I think the Steelers need a bad season.
I mean, not winning a playoff game since 2016 is pretty much as bad as having one bad season.
Yeah.
I'd say. I mean, I'm almost with you where it's like, maybe they should risk like a 5 or 6 win season. And the problem is, and it's like, okay, since 2016, and I saw this, Mason Rudolph, Delvin Hodges, 2020 Revival Ben, Last Leg Ben, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, they were still able, like...
No, I know, but it's like, where would they be now if they were able to draft a Josh Allen? I mean, they had an opportunity to draft a Lamar Jackson. They've had opportunities to go out and draft quarterbacks, but I think Shannon brought it up as well. Is they dragged out Big Ben's time in.
Oh, Ben was dragged way too long.
Like that. Like they drug it all the way out. I mean,
but Ben kept having revivals because when I started looking over, it was. But
it was like it's just good enough again. It wasn't great. It was just good.
2020, they went 12-4, won the North with Ben.
Well, was that not the year when they started off 11-0?
But I'm saying, so 2019, he was banged up, barely played, and it was Mason Rudolph and Delvin Hodges.
Yeah, but that 12-4 year, we knew that team was dog shit.
Okay, but I don't know. But this is hindsight. It's like, if you are the head office and you're like, well, Ben threw 30-plus touchdowns and this and that, it's like, are we going to, cut him? It's like, no, we're going to let him play again.
Well, I think it's a similar thing in Dallas. It's like, yeah, no, Dallas hasn't made the playoffs every year or whatever, but Dallas has been in playoff situations for a while. When was the last time they won a playoff game? When was the last time they've made it?
Won a playoff game?
No, they've won one recently, whatever, but they haven't made an NFC championship since God knows when. Haven't made a Super Bowl since the 90s. They go off and fire Mike McCarthy. They need to make a change of personnel.
But
quarterback,
but Mike McCarthy ain't Tomlin, bro.
No, he's not Tomlin. But
Tomlin ain't
I don't want them to tarnish Tomlin's legacy by him being known as the guy who was 9-8 his whole career.
I don't think he is.
The latter half of his career.
I think it's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I just know he's not going anywhere. His job's secured.
I know he's not going anywhere, but I don't know what their answers are for next season. They don't know who they're playing at quarterback.
Pickens
they need another receiver.
Oh, did you see his post game?
No.
So they asked him, about like just next year and this and that, and it was weird. And I don't want to call anybody stupid unless it's obvious. Okay.
You don't want to call people stupid
unless it's obvious. If it's obvious, I'm all day. I'm here all day. But look, they asked him something along the lines of like, "Do you have like hope or something in the offense?" And he's like,
"I think I did."
He said something along the lines of like, "Yeah," and they're like, "So are you like optimistic in the growth for next season?" He's like, "Nah."
Nice. Good for him.
He said nah.
And I would agree. And I can't argue with it.
But
where is their growth for next season? Where are they going to go? What are they going to do?
But do you say, okay, but why say
for him? That's a crazy statement. You don't do that. That's stupid.
But okay, like Antonio Brown was crazy. But he was never like just like knowingly going to be on the team next year. Like we're gonna suck next year.
No, he would leave a team and then start doing that shit.
I mean, it's like,
well, didn't he do that shit with Juju? Or was that after he left?
I think he shit on Juju after he left.
Okay.
But it's just like, I don't know. He it just doesn't seem like some shit Mike Tomlin would like. It doesn't seem like anything.
But there's been shit in recent Steelers history that has been allowed to fly, like Juju.
What? Him dancing? Is that's your okay? Mike
Chase
Tomlin let
Claypool.
Juju dance. I mean, that's okay. When they were going 11-0, they were dancing. Yeah, I mean that was like the
That's
thing.
true. Yeah.
I mean that was
But
like okay.
but no, this isn't a good look. But it's also like, I mean, Pickens knows that he's the guy on this team, on this offense. He knows he has the upper hand. Like, what are they gonna do? Suspend him?
Bro, but some people
Cut
just
him?
don't. Some people are just thinking he doesn't know what optimistic means.
That's fucked. That's so fucked. That's beyond fucked.
Like I'm like because okay.
That's not true, dude.
No,
He went to the
okay.
University of Georgia. He knows how to think. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
The only problem is it's like if you were like, hey Mike, you like that hat? I'm like, yeah, I love this hat. It's like, you think you'll like wear it again? No. Like that's kind of what he like.
Yeah.
So it was like, do I think he knows what the word optimistic means? Probably.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like I'm sure. Like, I mean,
but maybe it's just like
if you read an NFL playbook, you probably know what the word optimistic means.
I think he does. But maybe it's like constructive pessimism, where it's like he's not yet optimistic.
But like, but then
maybe it's like we got so much to work on that I'm not optimistic yet.
But there's like vets in the locker room who are probably like, "Yo, don't say that."
Well, there's like Steelers media people and like a lot of people saying, "Yeah, don't throw your team under the bus."
You probably shouldn't do that. But either way,
I mean, there's players who have thrown their teams under the bus a lot.
Free agents, they got some free agents. Obviously, we've discussed Justin Fields and Russell both becoming free agents, and I guess they're gonna stick with Russell Wilson, even though
I don't know.
I mean, people haven't
got the fucking team at this point. Got the team.
He went 6-6. He's a system quarterback.
See, look at us. The last playoff game we went to, well, before 2020 was 2016. Since 2016, we've had terrible years. We've gutted our team. We somehow get a second overall pick, and boom, playoff win. Beautiful thing.
You gotta be so happy. I know how you feel too. It's like I know how you feel, and I'm just letting you know.
But I'm scared now. I'm scared now.
That's the thing. I'm here for you, bro. Because now it's going to be.
This just happened for me with the Orioles. It's like I finally got hope, and we finally started winning. And now it's like now I want to win a Super Bowl.
But it was like Lamar quickly went from like, oh wow, that is so great, to like do something better.
No,
do something better.
For real.
Do something better. Like it was just
every year.
Every year. So
no, it's gonna be the same shit. And then it's like you're going up this like impenetrable wall of fucking Patrick Mahomes and whoever the fuck else is gonna be up there soon.
I would say the first step to possibly tanking as a Steeler, it would definitely be not signing a veteran quarterback that really, really wants to win.
Who?
Russell Wilson.
Russ, yeah.
You know? I mean, sign maybe, I don't know, sign Aaron, and it's like, maybe halfway through the year, everybody stops giving a shit.
Yeah.
Everybody just calls it a year. I mean, because
Sam Darnold, maybe?
You bring back Russell Wilson, they're going to win 9 or 10 games.
I know.
It's just the Steeler way. It's what's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. They're definitely going to be on the wide receiver watch list. Because Van Jefferson and Mike Will, who they traded for this season, both going into free agency, which means they could have their eyes on T. Higgins. They could be calling up Miami and seeing how bad Tyreek wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could take to see, is Amari staying in Buffalo? Is D-Hop staying in Kansas City? Who is staying in Kansas City as a receiver? Yep. It's like there's a lot of phone calls. Devontae, I mean, there's calls that are going to be made. Stephon Diggs coming back off the ACL, but he is going to be a free agent. Are you going back to Houston? You want to come run it in Pittsburgh? Like there's a lot of options.
There's a lot that can happen.
But there's a world where the Steelers don't pull the trigger on any superstar receiver, but then still want Russ to cook?
No, I know.
And you know who else is going to be a free agent? Najee Harris.
Ooh.
Najee Harris.
Ooh.
Somebody else. So we're looking at Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Van Jefferson, Mike Will, and Najee Harris.
You think Scatabo can drop enough for them to snag him? I think his draft stock went up.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's. I think that's gonna be tricky. I don't know where bro's going.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where.
I mean, either way, I mean, I probably expect they try to re-sign Najee. I don't know. I mean, Najee's going to play the market.
And I'm going to ask you in a sec. Well, there's two more. So you got Dante Jackson, obviously, corner. And then they have another corner, Cameron Sutton, both going into free agency, which they'd be left with looking at, who it's not nothing, but just Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah.
That's concerning. If I'm a Steelers fan, it's like that's a good amount of people where it's like, okay, I mean, our starting quarterback, a quarterback that we were bringing in is in certain packages, our starting running back who can put up 1,000, 2 receivers, 2 corners.
See, here's the thing now. It's like, do you go out and try to fully rebuild this team for next year to go win 9 games, or does Mike Tomlin leave now and not have this 4 or 5, 6 win season on his record next year? Because if this team stays the way it is, they're gonna win 6 games.
But if we already know how bad the Steelers,
take those free agents.
If we know how bad the Steelers are, is it really gonna matter if that's on his resume or not?
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's the thing. It's gonna matter.
Well, because he would have to get fired at some point, you know.
So
you think they're gonna stick with him again?
Hold on. Whoa. There are so many head coaches available right now, and there's still a man who has already joined a team that's still getting probably the same amount of phone calls from NFL teams that need a head coach, and that's Bill Belichick. Do you think his last 3 seasons where he couldn't win fucking shit, that on his resume hurt him?
No, you're right.
Mike Tomlin, 1 bad season, that ain't gonna hurt him. If Mike Tomlin left after 1 bad season, every team is calling.
I know.
Almost every team is calling.
But Mike wants to win 9, 10 games, and I think he will, and that sucks.
He probably will. And then you got Cameron Hayward. He's going to be 36 next year.
Yeah, he's old.
TJ Watt's going to be turning 31 mid-season. You still got some young guys, though. I mean, like I said, Joey Porter. You got Minka back there. You got
PQ.
Keanu Bento, whoever, the big bro on the defensive line. You got PQ, Joey Porter Jr. You got a defense that's going to,
of course they do,
alone is going to win 7 or 8 games just then. So,
and TJ Watt, I'm sorry, is not this team
anywhere.
Problem. I don't think anyone ever said that.
Except Stephen A. Smith. And that's the I'm not gonna whatever. We're
the
it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 free agents we talked about. Who are the 3 most important to bring back? Najee.
Yeah, Najee. Russ, if they don't want to go out and find somebody else, I'd say Russ. I don't think they need to bring back Van or Mike Will. I don't think that matters. Unless they I think that if I were them, I would go out and get another real option, a Steph or a Devontae or a team or someone like that.
You don't bring one or the other back though, just in case.
You could bring Van for real cheap.
Just in case. I'm saying just in case. It's like, I don't know. Mike Williams didn't make a great case to be paid much more than Van Jefferson.
I mean, both of them. Yeah.
Either way, I don't know if they're getting paid crazy amounts.
No, I don't know how much shitty receivers get paid, but
I'd say
I wouldn't put them in the most important then.
Out of the 3, if we're going top 3 though, Najee, I'd say if Russ is going to be their answer and they're starting QB next year, okay, then he's number 2. I honestly would have said Dante Jackson, but the conversation was, bro gave up in the playoffs. I don't know if the Steelers are going to rock that way. He's not George Pickens or Joey Porter Jr. He's not a nobody, but I'm just I don't know. It's when you got a player that's given up in the playoffs and it's on a team like the Steelers. I feel like probably both parties want to part ways.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'd probably say bring back a receiver just in case. Like it's like okay, you could go for the home run and call it T Higgins,
Yeah.
or try to trade for Tyreek. But if let's be real, someone's dropping a bag on T Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going. What are they going to trade for Tyreek? And they're not. I mean, and Miami's not sending Tyreek Hill to Pittsburgh. That's not.
No.
That's not on. Absolutely not good
Maybe
for
this
business for Miami. Maybe, but I'm just saying it's like I don't. I feel like you got to bring back one receiver just in case. Just in case. Safety blanket. You're not just gonna have. You're not just
but I mean,
gonna have.
like again, like even bringing this core back.
Mhm.
That's just to keep this team where it is, keep this team decent. For them to hit the next level, I think it would be more valuable to invest in non-quarterback players.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russ is good enough if he has a slightly better squad, but I don't think the risk for Aaron is worth it, especially if you're just gonna keep these same receivers and not add in somebody else. I mean, maybe Devontae's a package deal, but I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't risk it. I would try to build this offense up and keep Russ for cheaper.
Well, then it sounds like they're not tanking for shit.
Well, no, I don't think they're gonna tank
Because they're not.
I'm not saying that they're good
not.
enough to do anything, but
and they're gonna
I
make
think they
good
should
enough.
tank.
They're gonna make good enough off-season moves to where they're gonna be in the conversation, and they're gonna win enough games, and they're gonna make the playoffs.
But I mean, they're not gonna make outstanding offseason moves. I think they can, but I don't think they will.
I'd say re-signing Najee.
But you have to get a big receiver.
Yeah, and well, let's not count out the receiving threat of Fairmouth. Bro's a great receiving threat, and we've left him out this whole conversation, so throw him in there too. But still, there's at least 9 wins. We know they're gonna have at least 9 wins next season.
Or 8-1.